You think your house is messy because you're busy. That's the lie. You think you need a bigger closet, a smarter organizer, a new cabinet, maybe just one more room. Wrong. That's exactly how people quietly lose money, time, focus, and peace inside their own homes. Because clutter never shows up looking like clutter. It shows up as just in case. It shows up as I might need this later. It shows up as someone gave this to me. And little by little, your home stops being a home. It becomes a silent storage company you pay for every single month. You pay to heat it. You pay to cool it. You pay with stress. You pay with that small daily humiliation of never finding the thing you need the moment you need it. Almost nobody sees this. Japanese homes aren't calmer because the people there were born with more discipline. They're calmer because the home itself blocks bad decisions before they ever become normal. The West keeps asking, "Where can I store this?" Japan asks something far more brutal. Why did this come into the house at all? That one question changes everything. Because once you see the 15 things Japanese homes quietly refuse to allow, your own house starts to look different. Not dirty, not broken, just overloaded. Let's look at how Japanese homes stop problems before they ever begin. Number 15. The drawer where decisions go to die. Every house has one. Old chargers, pens that barely work, mystery screws, batteries you're not sure are dead, rubber bands, receipts, random keys, and one tiny screwdriver nobody remembers buying. You open it because you need scissors. You find everything except scissors. That drawer isn't organization, it's avoidance with a handle. In many Japanese homes, small things aren't allowed to become homeless. A pen has a place. Scissors have a place. Tape has a place. If something has no place, it doesn't get to stay. Simple. The Western mistake is thinking, I'll sort this later. But later becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. And then you own 5 versions of the same thing because you couldn't find the first one. That's how clutter gets expensive. You don't buy duplicates because you're careless. You buy them because your system is broken. Here's the rule. If it takes more than 30 seconds to find a basic item, your home isn't serving you. You're working for it. Number 14. Laundry mountains. Laundry should be a small, boring routine. In the West, it becomes a weekly crisis. 1 basket becomes 2. 2 becomes a pile. And Sunday becomes laundry prison. And it only gets worse, because the bigger the pile grows, the more emotional it becomes. Now it's not just clothes, it's proof you're falling behind. Japanese homes often avoid this by keeping laundry small, frequent, and forgettable. Not dramatic, just daily. A small load in the evening. Hang it, wake up, done. No mountain, no sacrificed weekend, no panic search for clean socks. Here's the hidden mistake. Western homes try to be efficient by batching chores, but batching turns small tasks into monsters. A tiny daily habit feels mildly annoying. A giant weekly pile feels like defeat, and defeat makes people freeze. So the system keeps feeding itself. Small laundry isn't really about cleanliness. It's about never letting your house build a problem big enough to wreck your mood. Number 13. Shoes inside the home. This sounds trivial until you actually think about it. You walk through parking lots, public bathrooms, gas stations, sidewalks. Then you carry all of that into the exact place where you relax, stretch out, sit, and let your kids play on the floor. That's insane. But because everyone does it, it feels normal. In Japan, the door is a border. Outside ends there. Inside begins there. Shoes stop. Slippers start. This isn't just hygiene, it's a psychological line. The home is protected. The outside world doesn't get to invade every room. Western homes skip that boundary, then wonder why the floors always feel dirty. You vacuum, you mop, you buy new cleaning products, but the source keeps walking in on your feet. That's the trap. You're not cleaning your home, you're cleaning the street. Over and over again. A calmer house doesn't start in the living room or the closet. It starts at the door. Number 12. Furniture that steals your movement. A huge couch looks rich in the showroom. Then it lands in your living room and becomes a wall. You squeeze around it. You bump your leg on it. You can't clean under it. And somehow the thing you bought for comfort makes the whole room feel smaller. Japanese homes often choose furniture that's lower, lighter, smaller, or easy to move. A table folds. Cushions stack. A futon disappears. A room changes jobs throughout the day. That's the difference. Western furniture says, "This room has one purpose forever." Japanese space says, "This room can breathe." And this matters more than people realize, because when your home is hard to move through, your brain feels it. Every blocked path is friction. Every oversized object is a quiet command. Walk around me. Clean around me. Live around me. That's not comfort. That's furniture running your house. Your home shouldn't require negotiation just to cross a room. Number 11. Cable chaos. Look behind the TV. Look under the desk. Look beside the bed. There it is. A black nest of cables, chargers, adapters, dead wires. One cable still plugged into something you don't even own anymore. You ignore it because it's hidden, but your brain doesn't fully ignore it. Visual mess is still visual mess, even when you call it technical. Japanese-style organization treats cables like any other object. Hide them. Shorten them. Label them. Bundle them. Remove what's useless. The West treats cable mess as unavoidable. That's just lazy. Cable clutter makes cleaning harder. It collects dust. It makes a desk look chaotic and unfinished. And the worst part? It goes invisible to you. You stop seeing it. Your guests don't. Your brain doesn't. A clean desk with cable chaos isn't clean. It's just stress with a keyboard on top. Number 10. Kitchen gadgets pretending to be solutions. The kitchen is where consumer culture gets embarrassing. A banana slicer, a garlic press, a popcorn machine, an air fryer, a second air fryer because the first was too small, and dinner still feels like a chore. This is where people quietly destroy their kitchen. They buy tools to make cooking easier, but every tool creates 3 new problems. Where does it live? How do you clean it? How often do you actually use it? Japanese kitchens tend to work with fewer, better tools: a sharp knife, a reliable pan, a rice cooker, a clear workspace. That's it. The Western kitchen becomes a gadget museum. Each one promised convenience. Together they delivered clutter. A tool you use every day is a tool. A tool you use twice a year is rent-free plastic. And if it sits on your counter making you feel guilty every time you look at it, it isn't helping you cook. It's accusing you. Number 9. Chairs for people who don't exist, a dining table for 8, a family of 3, 6 chairs buried under jackets, bags, school papers, mail, and random boxes. That's not hospitality. That's furniture cosplay. Western homes are often designed for imaginary events. The dinner party that never happens, the guests who rarely come, the perfect family gathering that lives more in your head than in your calendar. Japanese homes avoid this by keeping seating flexible. Cushions. Foldable chairs. Stackable options. Only what you need most days stays out most days. And that last part matters. Most days. Your home should serve your real life, not your fantasy life. If you host once a year, why is your house arranged like you host every Friday? That's how people surrender living space to imaginary people. A chair nobody sits in becomes a shelf. A shelf becomes a pile. A pile becomes shame. And now your dining room isn't a dining room, it's a waiting room for decisions you keep refusing to make. Number 8, the overstuffed fridge. This one stings because it looks responsible. A full fridge feels safe. It feels like abundance. It feels like you're prepared. But open it honestly. Old leftovers, half-used sauces, vegetables going soft, a container you're scared to smell, food you bought because Monday was going to be different. Food waste is one of the quietest ways a home leaks money. Japanese homes often avoid the giant fridge mindset. Smaller fridge, more frequent shopping, food for the next day or two, less hiding, less forgetting, less guilt. The Western fridge becomes a cold closet for broken intentions. You buy healthy food when you feel motivated. Then life gets busy. Then you order takeout. Then the food rots quietly in the back. And when you finally throw it out, you're not just throwing away food, you're throwing away money. You're throwing away the version of yourself you thought you were becoming. That's why it feels so bad. A smaller food system forces honesty. Will I actually eat this? Do I need this much? Am I buying food, or am I buying the feeling of being in control? A giant fridge hides your habits. A smaller one exposes them. That's exactly why it works. Number 7. Guest rooms that serve nobody. A guest room sounds generous, but in most homes, it's a lie with a bed in it. Someone visits maybe twice a year. The other 363 days, it's storage. Old blankets, suitcases, boxes, clothes you might sell, exercise equipment you might use. The room becomes a museum of postponed decisions. Japanese homes rarely waste a whole room on rare events. The room transforms. A workspace by day, a quiet space at night. A guest space when needed. The futon comes out. The guest sleeps. The futon disappears. The room comes back to life. That's intelligent. The Western mistake is permanent design for temporary needs. You don't need a room sitting empty all year for someone who stays 3 nights. You need a flexible system. Guests need comfort. They don't need a shrine. And be honest, your guest room probably isn't for guests anymore. It's for guilt you'd rather not look at. Number 6. Storage that creates more stuff. Basements, garages, storage units, extra closets, and somehow still not enough room. That alone should tell you something. The problem was never the amount of storage. The problem is that storage removes pressure. When there's space to hide something, you never have to decide. So you keep it. Then you keep more. Then you buy containers. Then you label the containers. Now you feel organized. But you're not organized. You've just gotten better at hiding the problem. Japanese homes often have less storage out of necessity, and that limit creates discipline. Not motivational discipline, environmental discipline. There's no giant basement to absorb your indecision. So the decision happens now. Keep it. Use it. Give it away. Throw it out. No dramatic weekend purge. No someday. Because someday is where clutter goes to multiply. A storage room can feel like freedom. For most people, it's a trap. It just lets weak decisions survive longer. Number 5. Counters you can't wipe. Here's a fast test. Can you wipe your kitchen counter in one smooth motion? If not, that's not a workspace. It's a display shelf, coffee machine, toaster, blender, knife block, spice rack, fruit bowl, protein powder, random supplements, a charger, a bottle that belongs in the bathroom. Now cooking feels hard before you've even started. Japanese kitchens keep counters empty when they're not in use. Not out of some obsession with minimalism, because an empty surface means an empty mind. You pull out what you need. You use it, you clean it, you put it away. The counter resets, and that reset matters. A clear counter says, you can start. A crowded counter says, first deal with all of this. That tiny difference quietly shapes your behavior. People cook less when the kitchen feels hard to enter. People clean less when cleaning means moving 12 objects first. People order takeout, not because they're lazy, but because the room is already fighting them. Your counter should invite action, not punish it. Number 4. Bathrooms that become weekly battles. The Western bathroom routine usually goes like this. Ignore the small messes all week, then attack the bathroom on Saturday like it personally betrayed you. Gloves, sprays, scrubbing, anger, regret. Japanese bathroom habits focus on prevention. A quick wipe after use, a rinse, a squeegee. Small maintenance before the grime hardens. That's the whole secret. Not intensity, timing. This is where people get it completely wrong. They think cleaning is about effort. It's actually about speed of response. Soap scum is easy today, annoying tomorrow, disgusting next week. Mold is easy before it spreads, brutal once it owns the corner. A 2-minute habit can erase a 1-hour punishment. And this goes far beyond bathrooms. Most chaos starts small. The problem isn't the mess. The problem is waiting until the mess becomes emotionally heavy. Number 3. Background noise disguised as comfort. You walk into the house. The TV goes on. You're not watching it. You're cooking, scrolling, texting, cleaning, talking, but the noise stays. Because silence feels strange. This is a hidden form of clutter almost nobody counts. Sound clutter. Japanese homes tend to treat media more intentionally. Watch something when you're actually watching, turn it off when you're not. Eat without noise, rest without a screen talking in the background. The West uses noise as emotional anesthesia. You say it keeps you company. Maybe. But it also steals your attention. It forces your brain to process things you never chose. It turns rest into half rest. It turns family time into parallel distraction. And it makes silence feel threatening. That's dangerous. Because if your home is never quiet, your mind never fully lands. You're physically home, but mentally still being pulled somewhere else. A calm home isn't just clean surfaces, it's clean attention. Number 2, emotional clutter. This is the hardest one because it doesn't look like clutter. It looks like love. Your child's old school project, a gift you secretly hate, a souvenir from a trip that wasn't even that good, your old dream packed away in a box. You keep it because throwing it out feels cruel, but keeping it quietly hurts too. Japanese homes often hold fewer sentimental objects by choosing symbols instead of archives. One meaningful item, not 50. One photograph, not 10 boxes. One cup from the set, not the entire cabinet of dishes nobody uses. That's not cold, it's clear. The memory was never inside the object. The object is only a trigger. And if that trigger creates more guilt than gratitude, it's no longer honoring the past. It's taxing the present. Here's the hidden mistake. People confuse keeping with respecting. They are not the same. You can respect someone without storing every item they ever touched. You can love your past without letting it occupy every closet. You can keep the lesson without keeping the pile. Emotional clutter is powerful because it uses your own heart against you. That's exactly why it demands the most honesty. Number 1. The belief that bigger will fix broken habits, this is the root, the biggest lie of all. One day, when I have a bigger house, I'll finally be organized. No, you'll probably just own more stuff. Because more space doesn't create discipline, it only delays consequences. A small home forces decisions. A big home lets you postpone them forever. That's why people move into bigger places and still feel cramped a year later. The clutter expands, the furniture expands, the cleaning expands. But peace never expands with it. Japanese homes reveal something the West keeps avoiding. Freedom isn't having room for everything. Freedom is needing fewer things to feel okay. That sentence sounds simple, but it can change your entire life. Because the goal was never to build a prettier storage system for a life that's already overloaded. The goal is to stop feeding the overload. You don't have to gut your whole house. You don't have to live like a monk. Start with one thing, one drawer, one counter, one chair, one cable nest, one pile of laundry. One object you only keep because guilt is louder than honesty. Fix that. Then watch what happens. Because your home is training you every single day. A chaotic home trains delay. A crowded home trains distraction. A noisy home trains avoidance. But a calm home trains clarity. And once you feel that difference, the question itself changes. You stop asking, "Where can I put this?" You start asking, "Why am I letting this take up space in my life?" That's the real Japanese system. Not minimalism for the aesthetic, not empty rooms for social media. A home where every object earns its place. A home that doesn't steal your weekend. A home that doesn't embarrass you when someone drops by. A home that doesn't quietly drain your money, your attention, and your energy. Pick one thing today, not tomorrow, today. Remove one source of friction. Block one bad habit at the door. Clear one space that's been silently controlling you. Because your home should never be another job. It should be the one place where your brain finally exhales. And if this changed the way you see your own space, subscribe for more smart systems that make life feel lighter without needing more motivation.